Hey, buddy, welcome to a new episode of Things Are Getting Sketchy. And we're starting off in the regular Things Are Getting Sketchy manner. Seems like we're not having any technical difficulties. We're just having technical difficulties finding our artists. So we, we got a couple here so far. Hopefully, that our guys will join in a few minutes. Tonight, we have Karl Waller with us, and we got
Hey.
Brandon. Is it Mackintosh? Did I say that right? Or pronounce it right?
Yep, just
Cool.
like the computer.
Awesome. That's good. And then I see we have someone else just popping in a second there. Um, Tonight is Hellboy Universe night, so everybody's working on Hellboy stuff. Brandon, you were here first, so why don't you tell us what you're going to do first and introduce yourself and all that great jazz.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to be doing a die cut just like I did the last time. Hopefully, there's no technical issues. I'm going to bring that up now just in case for the
Mhm.
audience. So I'm going to be doing a wraparound die cut of Hellboy. Let's see. There we go. So I've already got the pencils. I haven't had a chance to color this one yet, but I will be slicing into this very shortly. So I'm going to be doing this. Then I'm going to hopefully have, if I have time to ink it, I'll be able to do that as well. And then, yeah, we'll see how this turns out. Hopefully not too messy. I think I've got my boards. Yeah. Sweet.
That sounds pretty cool. And we'll jump to Carl in a second. And before we do that, who has joined us in the artist room there? Is that Richard or is that Chris? Hello, Richard. I will be with you in 1 second. Okay, so we will go with Carl now. And Carl, why don't you tell us what's going on?
Hellboy is going to be making pancakes.
Nice.
Got a little pan here. He's going to be flipping it, and then there's a monster appearing out of the darkness coming to get him.
Get him or his
Hellboy.
pancakes?
He's Hellboy, and he's got it under control.
That sounds cool. Hellboy is a fan of pancakes.
Yep.
All right, and I'm just connecting Richard's camera now. And once it's up and going, we'll get him going. All right there, Richard, you're up. I'm doing good, thanks. You're going to do some Hellboy, obviously, as well, too, but
Huh?
cool. And I don't know if you're trying to do it on purpose or not, but you got a whole Wizard of Oz effect going on with your voice. So maybe check your speakers or your mic or something.
Sounds fine on my end, personally.
Is it just me or? It's not robotic. Well, maybe some people might think it's robotic. It's almost like a tiny loop delay echo. Oh, there, you're okay now. You're okay now. Whatever you just did, you're okay. Okay, now you're not okay again.
You just missed a chance to look like really technically amazing, dude.
That's okay. It's all right. We'll all figure it out. Yeah, but everything is looking good so far, guys. I myself, I'm a pretty big Hellboy fan. I've read most of the older stuff in that. But when I was finding out or kind of researching the show a little bit tonight, I did not realize how large the Hellboy universe has expanded nowadays. There's so many different characters and stories and stuff that have nothing to really do with Hellboy, but just part of that. It's almost more appropriate to call them Mignola universe, really. So. Yeah, Mignolaverse.
Yeah, all the BPRD stuff is really cool. So.
I like that a lot too. I started off with the Hellboy movie, the first one, with Ron Perlman. Those were the good ones. And then I started reading all the books in the trade paperbacks, all the different volumes in that. And it's great. I love them. And then I got into, like you said, more of the BRPD and then started getting some more of the, I don't know if it's obscure or not, but some of the, unless you're a bigger fan, like the Lobster Johnson, and even nowadays it seems like every week there's a new Dark Horse book that comes out that's from the Hellboy universe, and that I've covered quite a few on my weekly review show. So
I like his really quirky shit, like the Adventures of the Amazing Screw-On Head.
yeah, that's one too. Yeah.
some pretty neat shit.
That's pretty cool. I always like with Hellboy because I mean, I know he does have like some gallery of villains type of thing, but most of his stuff is just straight up just monsters, and especially a lot of the older stuff is monsters that are like that have that old folklore and that behind it too. A lot of it, kind of no real stuff in people's cultures.
Yeah, he tends to do a lot of like Irish and Scottish stuff.
Yeah.
I love all that. It's really, really neat.
Me too. Now, I didn't realize that Brandon was in Canada. I forgot about that. I thought you guys were all American tonight, so only half of you had celebrated the holiday weekend this one. So I wish you guys all a good, happy Thanksgiving, and I'm hoping it was well for you guys. Yeah.
Got to represent. Thought it was going to be all us Yanks.
Yeah. Nope. Sorry, guys.
What?
Hey. Nowadays, it's pretty much the same because instead of just calling it Thanksgiving weekend up here, we just call it Black Friday weekend. No, that's taken over so much
right now.
Yeah, it's taken over so much now. Speaking of which, did any of you guys do any Black Friday shopping? I know Brandon already had a little bit of Black Friday shopping, but he was unsuccessful at it. He was trying to get a web camera for doing shows like this. So
yeah, but yeah, no, I'm 0 for 1 at the moment.
What about you, Karl? Do you go out? Do you go brave the crowds? Do they still have the crowds in the States, or is everything all online now?
I don't do any of that.
No,
I avoid that like the plague.
Me too.
I'm not down for that kind of thing. Took one of the girls some years back to Walmart because she wanted a certain TV. And I was so upset because it was obvious that I had forgotten my cattle prod. It was just horrible.
That's not, you don't need your stunt.
Oh.
You should have brought your taser with you for that.
Well, no. Yeah, it was really not cool. I'm always amused whenever I see the videos of people getting in fist fights. I'm like, are you serious?
The stampede videos. The videos I see people stampeding to get in, that's what always amazes me. They're like pushing, and kids are getting stomped, and guys are getting their arms busted in the doors and that. Like, that's just crazy.
Yep.
Is that
doesn't happen anymore? That's what I was asking you guys, because in Canada it's mostly all online, and nowadays it's not even Black Friday. It starts at the beginning of the week or all of November, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, I'm guessing that's you that popped in there. Hello. How are you doing? Maybe he doesn't hear us yet. He might be still setting up. That's all right. We'll get to him when he's ready. But yeah, they don't do that at all now. And I work in the mall. Like, I'm a hairdresser and I work out of a mall. And I mean, there was people shopping around in that today, but it was just basically a normal day. It was, getting busier just because it's getting closer to Christmas, not because people were walking around, especially with Black Friday deals. Because, like I said, it's been on all week or online or.
Yeah, that's how I found it to be the same today. It was pretty much like a normal day, just a little bit busier, only because like you said, it's Christmas time, right? So
yeah,
we're going to be doing the shopping regardless. But yeah, the bulk of it was definitely a couple days ago.
Yeah, I hear you. I do hear you. Hello, sir. We'll introduce you now. This is Chris. Everybody say hello to Chris when you can.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, what's up, Chris?
All right, I will get you on the screen in just 1 second there, Chris. Let's see here. You guys can keep talking though. Don't feel you have to stop to just
Why do you
because
get
I
yourself
did.
sorted out?
Yeah, you guys are all capable of having a conversation without me. Well, yeah, I'm just wanting to let you
Yeah, as
know in
long as my
case.
audio doesn't cut out.
Yeah, everyone's all good. All right, let's see here. All right, Chris, we got your camera all hooked up and everything. You're on the screen. Go for it. Tell us all about yourself and what you're drawing tonight.
I am freelance comic artist. I've done a few covers for The Last Ronin. Did a full comic of I guess not really a reboot, but a continuation of Jim Lawson's Dragonfly with Wes Hefner, or not, sorry, not Wes Hefner, Wes Briggs. And tonight I'm working on a Hellboy here, fighting a werewolf. I like Hellboy a lot, so I had to make sure I was on this night.
That's pretty cool. And where are you drawing from? What
I'm
area?
in Columbia, Maryland.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe you're in Australia because you're upside down.
Oh, am I upside down?
Yeah.
Through the camera.
There we go. There we go. All right, everyone is just awesome. You're still upside down, Chris, but it's okay. We don't have to see the way it's looking, just as long as it looks good in the end.
I guess that's probably my camera.
That's all right. That's okay. As long as things are happening like that, I can handle that. If it's any other technical issue, we're done. So. What size is your piece there, Richard? 11 by 17. Okay. Okay. What size is yours, Carl? Your picture.
I'm going a little bit large. This is 12 by 18.
Okay. That's pretty neat. That's why I had to include picture in there, because I know we got a lot of jokers in the room tonight. And Chris, we got yours is going to be on the cover book size. That's awesome. And same with Brandon. His is a cover as well. Right before you guys got on the air tonight, I did a little side hustle dealing with Brandon. I'm going to send him a double blank cover of a Batman facsimile. I think it's Poison Ivy. And I'm going to get him to do some work on that for me.
Yeah, we didn't have any of those double blanks here.
The double blank was it was like when the facsimile of the Poison Ivy Batman came out a couple months ago. They actually did a error at first and made a few hundred or a few thousand that had double blank copies on it, or double blank covers. So there was a few of those around, so I managed to grab 2 of those.
Dancing back and forth here, doing really big darks, and then grab my really good brush and jump in.
Mm-hmm. What's it like in North Carolina, Carl? Is it
Actually, a little bit cold.
Yeah, what's that? What does that mean? Yep, you have to wear a jacket.
It's actually jacket weather, yeah. We got really, really weird stuff going on all the time. It'll be really, really hot, and it'll be a little chilly, and then it'll go back to hot. And I sometimes miss living in Utah, because when I used to live out there back in the day, I had seasons.
Well, Winnipeg has seasons, and it's been weird this year too. The same thing. So I'm in Winnipeg right now. Oh, seriously? Whereabouts? In what area? Oh yeah, I'm in St. B. Cool. Do you still have family out here? Okay. I used to be married to one, so I know your pain. But yeah, it's usually at this time of year, and I'm sure Richard can attain to this as well. That usually at this time of year in Winnipeg, it's full on winter, and right now there's no snow, and it is a little colder right now, but it's just because there's been some really cold wind lately, so it's not even that bad. Yeah, it's not too bad at all. So just the fact that we go all of November with not much winter, so that's 1 month off our 6 months of winter here.
I was going to say, I would expect it to be winter like 9 months out of the year you're in Canada.
It's not 9 months of the year. It's from like late October to about March-ish.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate over here.
So basically your college basketball season. Yeah, there's some weird geography in Canada for sure. Like Rob Denner, where he lives in Michigan, is actually a little bit almost on par with like Winnipeg. You know, like it's again they kind of overlap each other in weird places and that. And then you guys got Alaska, which is basically way above Canada. So I mean, I think that makes sense. No, so. It's all right. Everyone, I'm sure, is so happy that they tuned in to see everybody talk about geography. So,
I was just saying that.
what's Does anybody have any special plans for tomorrow being the end of your long weekend, or do you guys all get Monday off too?
We ended up because I'm a state employee. We got up Thursday and Friday off.
Okay. Yeah, you work in the penal system, right? You're is it a parole officer you are, or?
I worked front desk of a probation and parole office.
Okay, yeah.
It has very negatively affected my view of humanity.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I could see that.
The unit I work with is special. We have the sex offenders and we have mental health. So it's occasionally interesting. Oh yeah, we got some interesting folk. Although it's one of the things about where I work that about once a year we have a staff meeting of everybody in District 10. And in North Carolina, our district is one of the biggest because we have Wake County, which is Raleigh. And there was one staff meeting where we were informed by the really big dogs that, this a few years back, that China had actually approached us for advice on how to set up a probation and parole system.
I didn't think they did that in China.
Ah, they did. Yeah, I didn't either. I thought, I thought they just fed the offenders to dragons.
Yeah, I just thought they killed you or put you in jail.
Yeah.
That's it. Interesting.
So that was.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
All that fabulous stuff.
And you know what? Your argument is even more convincing doing the magic Oz voice too. So it works well into the situation. I don't think the Canadian one's much better.
It's been very educational. Uh, I went into it with a point of view that uh, was a lot more liberal, and I've kind of gone the other way. Uh, there's a lot of, I don't know. It's very hard to describe. Uh, there is a fantasy that says that everybody in the system is there because they're either misunderstood or they don't have opportunity. And what I've really learned is there are a lot of people in our system that are criminals because they kind of choose to be criminals.
Yeah.
And it was kind of disheartening. Uh,
Yeah.
the majority of the people who are in my lobby, I'd say I've done this 20 years. I've talked to different officers over 20 years, and all of them tell me that about 90% of the people they supervise, uh, let me reverse that, about 5 or 10% are people you would consider normal or average people, like people who made a mistake and are doing their probation, which is designed to prevent you from going to prison and ruin your life,
Hmm.
and are doing their very best to not be on probation anymore. And the rest just constantly shuttle themselves through the system over and over and over. So yeah, it's not quite what you think. Uh,
So you're saying you see a lot of repeat customers?
most at least 90% is,
Really?
yeah. Uh, and it's really, really weird. A lot of the officers I deal with are used to be corrections officers, what they call in the movie prison guards.
Yeah. Corrections officers.
Yeah. And it's just it's not quite what you think. And I've watched my officers pulling their hair out for 20 years trying to keep people from going back to prison, and they seem really bent on putting themselves back there. It's it's not what you think. Really, really, really. Uh,
Now, like in like just an example you can think of in the most recent in your head, what's like what kind of time gap are we talking about in between visits that you're seeing some of these people? Like a year, a couple months, a few weeks? Like,
a lot of these people continually get new charges while they're on probation
oh, okay.
or parole.
Hmm.
And our system is actually extremely lenient. You have to put serious effort into being, uh, if your officer has arrested you and taken you, what they call citing you back to court, you've had to work really hard
Yeah.
to achieve that. They don't just randomly hit the alarm clock, wake up and go, I think I'm going to put somebody back in prison today. Because the officers are trained that if their offender goes back to jail or prison, and there's a difference, that they failed.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's, like I said, it's not exactly what you think. Uh, believe it or not, a lot of the thought behind that is that it's not as cost effective. No, I don't know what the current numbers are, but basically it was usually about 40 grand an inmate to keep someone in prison, and it cost about $10,000 per offender to supervise someone. And when you have them out, they have opportunities to be employed. You know, there are people that have good jobs that make mistakes that some judges determine it would be a mistake putting that person in prison because they would lose everything.
Right.
And but it provides an opportunity to be productive, and that's why they're really not interested in putting somebody back in. Now we have some folks that are incredibly dangerous and should be away from people. I had, and then we have some people that I had a guy that the southern term is he fell out. He passed out in my lobby last year. It took 8 hits of Narcan to wake him up.
Jesus.
and that was administered by an ambulance crew that we called, and we were thankful he did it there, because if he'd done it anywhere else, he wouldn't be walking around.
Wow.
Yeah, we have some wild stuff go on. Then we have some funny stuff. So, it would make a really good HBO series. I can tell you that.
I have a lot of clients that are teachers or principals or work in the school system and stuff, and it's crazy the stories they tell you too. It's like you guys aren't even teaching and stuff, and nowadays you're basically like babysitters or social service stuff. Like it's hardly any teaching anymore. It's unreal. The stuff they're dealing with is crazy on a daily basis.
We had a dude in our lobby that was an older. He looked like Mr. Rogers' uncle.
Okay.
And he was sitting there looking at all of the offenders like they were beneath him. And I asked his officer, I'm like, what's this guy's story? And turns out this guy was a legit Top Gun pilot, retired. He taught at Top Gun school.
Like the flight school?
Flight school. Top Gun.
And what was he in jail or going to jail for?
He couldn't keep his hands off of his daughters.
Oh, man.
And it makes them cranky when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
So he had retired from the military and had taken a job flying for an airline carrier, which is sort of like going from Top Fuel to driving the bus, I guess.
Yeah.
And he had 2 retirements. And one of the things people don't understand, like when you mess up in civilian life like this after you've retired, you often lose your military retirement.
Well, I was going to say he's lucky he didn't have more than that, but it sounds like he did have more than that. Because, yeah, it's all about optics, right? So
yes, and he lost his military retirement.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can got to be careful, man. But, yeah, we've had some interesting folks. And we've had some folks that I would have thought would have never, ever, ever straightened themselves out, walk through the door flying straight. So yeah, it does work.
Well, that's what makes it worthwhile, right?
And it was really, yeah. There was a woman that I knew we would find dead in a gutter somewhere someday, and she came walking through the door looking fit, healthy, and like a completely different person. And I looked at her for a minute and I said, "Holy crap." She goes, "Yeah, makes a huge difference when you sober up." I'm like, "Well, good on you."
Awesome.
It was really cool. So.
And then that's the tough part, and then the other tough part is staying that way, right? Consistent, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it can happen 20 years down the road, same thing, right?
And that stuff is a lot of it's change in your environment.
Sure it is.
Yeah. Well, but it's been interesting.
What do you got going on for work right now, Karl? Do you got any kind of projects and stuff going on? Is your what do you got? Are you allowed to talk about anything at the moment?
Well, the Kickstarter for Axel's Infernal, which is something Dan Chichester and I created together, for the first issue, ended a few weeks back.
Yeah.
We are funded, and we're going to be working on fulfillment on that. And also, I am deep into working on issue 2 because it's a 5-issue initial story arc.
That's awesome.
So our characters are not going to end up in hell till issue 3, when Percy has to go and get her driver's license. And Dan has written some just wild stuff for that. So
that's cool.
It's been difficult working on the first 2 issues because a lot of it is setup. And because what's coming up after that is so cool that I'd rather work on that.
That's cool too.
But I can't. So.
What about you, Richard? Yeah, I know you got stuff coming up in the future. Feel free to plug it right now.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
I remembered you talking about the Conan. That's what I was getting at. Yeah. Somebody online on Facebook the other day was talking about how they've been enjoying the new Conan and everything like that, and they're like, "Oh, they're looking forward to the new Savage stuff coming out." And I said, "Oh, well, I happen to know someone working on that."
Flex, flex.
It was a little flex. It was pretty cool. Yeah. Nice. Sneak peek, everybody.
Bait 'em up. Cool.
Oh, I remember you mentioning that before too. Yeah. That's cool. All you Conan lovers out there, you're getting a lot of amazing Conan work from Richard.
All right, I have to hate you now. Nothing personal.
Danny Harrell's in the chat and he's watching and he says, "Shameless plug, Karl has a cover for Rebel Girls. Would it be out in January? And the pre-orders are out for that right now." And yeah, I like all the Danny Harrell's Rebel Girls and the Archie covers and the Sabrina one. I got a couple of the Archie and the Sabrina ones on sale at the Not Daddy stuff. So yeah, support Danny, support Karl. Plus, Rebel Girls has just been an awesome book so far. So. What about you, Chris? What do you got going on project-wise? Anything coming up you want to promote or talk about, or is it all secret at the moment? Or
I got nothing much really coming out right now. I'm just mostly doing commissions, working on moving right now. Actually, I'm in the process of moving, so
that's crappy.
I'm pretty busy with that.
If people want to,
yeah.
moving's the worst. If people want to reach out to you for commissions, where can they find you? Just at your Instagram page, or you got a web page, or?
Yeah, my Instagram page is a good place to find me. Definitely, I'm always on there and posting stuff on there.
Okay.
Wes and I are still going to be doing another issue of Dragonfly. The first one, I mean, we still have copies of those. But he's working on a second issue now, so I'm just kind of itching to get ready to start drawing that one.
Now, for anybody that's not familiar on that, what's the premises of Dragonfly?
Dragonfly, when Jim Lawson created it, it was about this giant, turtle guy, and a talking dog named Catch, and a female that they found. They just all woke up on this strange world one day, and they don't really know anything about the place. They're just kind of walking around discovering different characters and having small adventures and everything, just trying to figure out what the place is and what it's all about. And so we're just kind of continuing that with our story, introducing some new characters in there.
That sounds pretty cool. And the Mad King, as he likes to go by on his Instagram post page. What do you got going on project-wise? Anything at the moment, Brandon, or anything coming up in the future, or just doing commissions right now, or what you got?
My audio still on? Can you hear me?
You got to speak up just a little bit.
Oh, is it fine now? Oh, it's finally fine. Yeah, I lose.
It's okay. You're just a little quiet. That's all.
Hold on.
You're good. You're good. That was perfect.
Okay, is that better?
You're perfect.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, no, nothing. I don't have anything going on at the moment. I'm just, I'm just still practicing doing these. Sorry, all that build up for nothing. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. And in case anybody didn't see, just before, I guess it was earlier this afternoon, somebody posted on the Things Are Getting Sketchy Facebook page that they received a couple of books from you. And they were just completely enthralled with them and so happy that they got it. So people are liking your work.
Yeah, no, that was Justin. Yeah, he's a cool dude, And yeah, he got the two of the. It was a pair that I did behind the scenes prior, just when I was still trying this out with some of the TMNT and Usagi blanks that I had a couple months ago. I did one of the Ronin and Shredder 2.0. So yeah, he got both of those, and I'm glad that she's enjoying those. So just every one of these that I work towards helps to get me better at the next one. So still
That's cool.
just practice makes perfect, as they say.
And the best place for people to reach you is just through your Instagram, or?
Yeah, my Instagram is probably the better one. And if anyone is curious, the website I have posted in the bio on my Instagram is you can always reach out to me through there if interested about anything.
There you go.
I can hear myself in the bedroom. Marie's watching on the YouTube. I hate the sound of my voice.
Actually, you know what? It's so funny that I do this show and I do my show and a bunch of other shows and stuff nowadays, because I've always hated my voice too. I always think it sounds like just brutal.
Ugh.
But it's the voice I got, so what can I do, man?
Yeah, I still would rather not hear it.
Okay, well, I won't talk to
like
you
my
anymore.
voice, not yours. Not yours.
Okay, thanks.
No.
Way to clarify.
I knew that was gonna get mixed up.
That's all right. That's okay. I know you're sorry,
There's
because
some sort of surgical options, or
I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that was it Lawrence Fishburne? No, not Lawrence Fishburne. Morgan Freeman, maybe. I think it's Morgan Freeman. Actually had like stuff injected into his vocal cords when he was like a big starting off his acting to make his voice deeper. Now, I don't know if that's real or not, but yeah, was that a joke for real? Yeah, but it's good. Yeah. Voice training, oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, they don't use their diaphragm. Yeah. Yeah. And that's funny that you say that, because that's how I do it is for my yoga breathing, and that's how I talk in a lower octave is by using my gut to breathe and not just going through my lungs. So I can confer that you are correct on that. And why do you know that? Oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, so you're learning how to project your voice. Sure. Well, that's all speech therapy is. It's just teaching you consistency and how to use your certain muscles that maybe you've never used before and that. But yeah, it's all the same thing. Yeah.
so the King's Therapist.
The King's Therapist. That was actually a pretty cool movie. That was a good movie. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
Michael Dorn says that his voice from doing Worf so long is permanently a baritone.
Oh, really?
Initially, it wasn't.
He did so many cartoon voices too. He actually just wrote one of the recent Star Trek books, I believe, as well too. One of the recent Star Trek comics. Yeah. Yep. What were you going to say, Richard? Well, all that stuff is muscle, right? You know, so as we age and if you use it too much, it breaks down as well, right? I mean, look at guys like Ozzy and Axl Rose and stuff. I mean, they can still sing, but there's no way they're hitting those notes that they once did.
I remember
I
reading
think
an
for me, one of
article
the first ones
about
I noticed it with was Meatloaf.
Meatloaf, same thing. Yeah.
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 I remember reading an article about Mel Blanc.
Yeah.
And there was a doctor who came up with a device where he could go down somebody's throat with a camera. This was way back in the day, and look at their vocal cords.
While they were
And
vibrating.
they, according to this guy, Mel Blanc's vocal cords were so overdeveloped. The only set of vocal cords he saw that were more powerful were Enrico Caruso's.
Well, I bet you if he looked at Peter Welker's voice, the guy does like every cartoon character ever from the 80s on, it would be pretty similar.
Yeah.
The guy that you mentioned there, who's that? Is that like a Spanish singer or something? Or
Enrico Caruso, we're going back to the 50s and 60s, was one of the most powerful opera tenors on the planet.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Frank Welker, that's what I said. Peter Welker. Peter Welker is RoboCop. Or Weller, sorry. There you go.
Peter Weller, yeah.
Yeah. Remember what I was saying earlier there, Brandon, how my brain, because I've gotten older, just kind of blends everything together? There you go.
It's okay. We knew who you're talking about.
Yep. You guys are about 45 minutes in. How is everybody liking the start of their projects?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah.
It's going to look, because I penciled everything reasonably tightly and I know where it's going, I tend to jump around a lot so I can give the ink a chance to dry, or else I'm going to end up with fingerprints through everything.
Sure. Does that happen to you lots?
It's good, depending on the paper I use.
Yeah.
But I'm going to, it's going to look weird for a while because it doesn't make sense. But when I get some more of these darks nailed in, Hellboy will start to appear a lot better.
Well, even when on the video here, I can see the blue outline, so it's not too bad. We get what you're doing. Now, everybody's piece here is going to be available. Everybody will have it available through their own social media places, but we will make sure that's either on the Nat Daddy page and for sure on the Things Are Getting Sketchy pages, where you guys can either buy or bid on all these fabulous pieces from tonight. Correct, gentlemen?
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. You can do what you want. Okay. Yeah. I think quite a few people are just doing flat rates now too. Yeah, but like I said, you can do whatever you want. Sure. That's fine.
I'm going to go gladiatorial and have people bid. So
that's because Karl doesn't like to.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do an auction for mine as well.
Yeah, Karl doesn't like to put a price on his stuff. That's why. even when me and Carl agree on a price, and I say, "Okay, Carl, what do I owe you?" And then he'll change it. I'm like, "Are you sure, Carl?" "Oh yeah, yeah, that's good." I'm like,
What?
but I appreciate.
I got a piece of art. I got to send you the portrait of you for our sketchy cover.
Yeah, that sounds good. You have to let me know, but I will figure that.
All right.
Yeah, and if you want to wait till after Christmas, that's fine too, because I know the post office is stupid this time of year. It's up to you.
Well, fortunately, where I work, I actually have a post office right next door.
Oh, okay.
So, and I shouldn't have let anybody know that, because if I'm slow shipping, that they.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man, you just gave yourself a and no more way out.
There at lunch. It is literally the building next door to my job. So
is that just because it's both federal? Is it? Are you
well,
in a
I'm
federal
state.
building or?
I'm state employee.
Oh, okay.
So that, but the federal post office is right there next to me.
Okay.
So.
I know you guys having the holidays and that being off on Thursday. Did everybody watch football? Are you guys with being American? Does that mean like is it actually cliche true where you guys have to watch football? Do most people do it, or is that just cliche?
It's the law.
It is a lot. Well, I know of where you are, Carl, because you guys even like the college football too, do you not?
Here in North Carolina, college football is much bigger than pro ball.
Well, yeah.
They are as fanatical here about their college ball as Texas is.
Right.
It's a huge deal.
Right. So the answer is yes. Then you did watch football.
No.
Oh, you didn't know?
I'm not a huge sports guy.
That's fucking funny.
I would rather watch NHRA drag racing or fencing. I'm not a big like.
Okay, if someone's watching drag racing, I don't assume they're also wanting to watch fencing. So you're pretty wide ranging there. So
Yeah. Now
no.
Linda is a fanatic about the college ball.
Well, I was just gonna say I know she's a big college sports fan because she's always posting stuff about the college sports.
Yeah, she graduated NC State back in the day, so she has taught me to hate, and that is anybody but NC State. Yes, I rhymed on purpose. Although it is acceptable to pull for Duke if NC State is no longer in the running for any kind of bowl game.
Okay.
So I have a little wiggle room. So
now, being in North Carolina, are you guys huge basketball fans? Because I mean, you're in like you got Duke,
yeah.
You got North Carolina, and you got so many awesome places there.
Yeah, there's some really powerhouse schools.
Yeah,
here in
for
NC.
sure.
People tend to not understand there's a lot of tech in North Carolina, and there's a lot of medical. Some of the finest medical hospitals on the planet are in North Carolina. So we have Duke, which is a teaching university and it's medical. We have Wake Med, which if you're going to get your heart done, go there. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff.
It's just by coincidence that all that great medical stuff happens to be in the same place where all tobacco in the world comes from.
Let me correct you, the best tobacco in the world.
Okay, the best tobacco in the world comes from.
And funny enough, we sell almost none of it to the U.S. It goes to China. China
Really?
All of the tobacco, yes.
China's the only people that smoke nowadays, or what?
No, they just buy it all up.
Oh wow.
And I joke all the time that when it finally becomes legal to grow weed, we'll grow the best weed too. There's just something
Uh,
about the soil that allows us to grow certain crops. Soy is real big here too.
yeah, in Canada, you're allowed to grow weed. So only a certain amount, depending on where you are, and a couple of plants type of thing. I
Yeah,
mean, who wants to grow it? I mean, it's like, pretty, I won't say it's cheap, but it's in the store is pretty easy. So
you know. And if we could grow it here, Linda's degree is in botany.
that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, you know. So there's that. Ugh, I got to be careful with this paper. If I load my brush up too much, it soaks in, and I don't get the clean lines I like. Uh, what am I using?
Because I was going to ask you that too.
It's I think it's some Canson that I had left over, and it may not be as much of a paper problem, but more of an ink problem. Uh, I think the ink I've got is breaking down or something because I really can't get what I want out of it anymore for some reason.
Does that mean it's just too old, or?
Yeah. Oh. Well, I'm really picky about the ink. What I've got, what this is Pelican, and I use it because it's water based. Because after I finish this, I do a lot of white, and I delineate a lot of things with Pro White, and I've found that and I've complained about this on the show a couple of times. Most of the inks nowadays have lacquer in them. And so when I go to do all those little corrections, which is like what makes my stuff pop, it beads up like you're trying to paint on a freshly waxed car. Because the whiteout I use is this stuff, and that's a water based white, and it's the stuff I can use where I can really get sharp line with it. Now I'll be doing things like these little tiny stubby hairs on Hellboy's head. I'll start popping them in here in the dark to pull his head off just a little bit, little things like that. So I had to buy a really large bottle, like that large. And it's actually listed on sale online as tattoo ink.
Oh wow!
Yeah, but if you go to Pelican's website, it says specifically don't use this for tattoos. So who knows? But I think the tattoo people use it because it's water based. Acrylic stuff is like it beats your brushes up really bad because it's acrylic paint. I've tried the stuff I tried initially was that FW ink, and the stuff makes just luscious blacks. But I just found that my brushes would not last with that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Huh. I'm getting all old and stuff. So I tend not to.
We all are, man.
Now I turned 59 this past summer. I'm like I refuse to change what I'm doing. So, you know, I bought a beautiful Cintiq 24-inch Cintiq tablet, and I'm still staring at it like those creatures at the beginning of 2001.
At the mollusk or whatever it is. Yeah. That's how I am with stuff too. It's am I afraid to do it, or I don't want to start the work on it, or is it just too much to learn? I think it's all that stuff nowadays for myself. I don't like anything new, really.
Well, I'm sure with some practice, I can probably pretty much emulate what I do with what I'm doing here. But I really like making art on paper.
Yeah.
Likewise.
I mean, I can appreciate digital art and all that stuff too, but yeah, there's nothing like holding it in your hand and seeing it done live. Like I get lost in the conversation sometimes just listening to you guys talk about the art and do it at the same time. Like I forget that I'm hosting sometimes just because it's mesmerizing, and seeing someone do that with a computer, like when Thomas is on doing it with the sculpting with the digital, that's pretty cool too, but it does not have the same effect on me.
Sort of like when the Frankenstein's monster is hearing the music and he's reaching out to try and grab the note.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Well, for myself, like I'm not artistic at all. I can't draw anything, and so I don't know if it's envy or just appreciation. Because again, much like most of us here and the people who watch the show and that, know they've been lifelong comic book fans. So to see you guys do it and do it so well, and I'm not saying easily, but no, you guys do it a little bit easier than the rest of us because it is your chosen talent. But it just amazes me.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
It kept me from getting beat up in high school. I had too many like really big tough guys who just thought it was the coolest thing in the world that I could draw stuff. And yeah, people left me alone. It was like, don't mess with him. I'm like, all right, yay.
So you were probably in high school in in the early 70s, late 60s? Does that sound about right?
Wait a minute. No, I graduated in 1982.
82? Okay.
No.
Okay, that makes sense. I was going the wrong way. So I mean, you were probably drawing some pretty cool stuff then in the late 70s and that and early 80s.
I kept getting asked to draw tattoos.
That's what I was going to ask, if it was going to lead to
All of them
tattoos.
had to be skulls with snakes.
Oh,
Well, okay.
no Grim Reapers in there?
No, it was all skulls and snakes.
I thought for sure there'd be a Grim Reaper. Someone want that on their van.
No. Yeah.
Now, Brandon, I got some questions for you just because we can really starting to see your artwork start coming through there. Can you kind of explain the process a little bit? What's going on?
Yeah, sure. There we go. Okay, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, sweet. Hold on. Just clarification. What do you mean? Like as I'm doing this?
Explain to someone what a die cut is and all that as well too, because I think some people might not see what's going on. They might not understand that there's a piece.
Well, as though we were a child.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where I am.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll do my best. So it's just it's essentially just it's literally just cut through right the cover, and then usually if some people that I've talked to like it where there's like a just a plain background behind it, or if there's anything. Yeah, some people like seeing the comic coming through, like the actual artwork itself. Once this whole thing's finished, I personally don't like it that way. Just personal choice, considering that once I do this up in ink, the inks, especially if the first and last pages are really dark, it just blends in and it just looks like a collage of shapes.
Okay.
So it's hard to actually bring out what I'm trying to do with it. But
Sure.
but yeah.
So there's
funny,
more.
I got the idea from the. Good.
I was gonna say, so there's more than one idea or approach to do like a die cut cover then, because I think for most people, when they do think of a die cut cover, they think of something like there's a picture and then the die cut goes over top of it, and it's like we were talking about, or like Wolverine fans where there's claws coming through and then you can kind of see through the picture behind. But yours isn't really like that. It's a little bit different, but I'll let you continue on explaining that.
No, yeah, that's exactly what I was getting to. The Wolverine one in particular, that's what gave me the idea. It was it's a yellow comic. I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Sure.
It looked like a file.
Yeah, it sure did. Yeah.
Yeah, and when I saw that, I'm like, oh, well, that's really cool. But then I started trying to look into more like professional ones that Marvel and DC did, and I didn't find too many. There was a Spider-Man one that I saw that it was the spider logo, and in between the legs, that was cut out. That looked pretty cool. And then
there's I know a brand new one that just came out last week. A pretty cool die cut if you can find it. It's for that new book, The Deviant, with James Tynion. I know Mike Ruth did a cover for it. It's where the serial
there's a die cut cover for that?
Yeah, one of the covers is the front makes it look like a snow globe. That's what the die cut is for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's one that just came out last week. If you can try and find that one for reference for yourself.
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely look at that. Thank you. I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
The only one I was aware of was Mike's exclusive cover for that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just.
But yeah, no. So when I'm doing these.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So when I'm doing these, just to your point as well, I find that if I'm doing a logo in a die cut format, that is easier, and sometimes that shows up better than doing like an actual full stencil silhouette piece like this.
Sure.
Because when I do it this way, if I don't add a background to it, it's going to get lost. Because I have a couple that I've done for Maleficent in her dragon form. And that one I decided to do glow in the dark. So the background of that is all green. But if you were to take that backing out, like it's removable, but if you were to take that backing out and you had just the comic in the back, the whole thing gets lost because the first and last pages are so dark.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
But yeah, honestly, when I'm doing these things, the biggest thing that I'm worried about, honestly, is just there's two things. One, making sure that I'm following the line as close as I can, especially if it's freeform like this, it doesn't matter. But the ends, it's primarily when I'm doing the actual character. I want to make sure that even if it's in like a form like this, anyone who's watching right now can tell who this character is, regardless of any of the details being thrown over top yet.
Okay.
If I get that down, then the rest is usually cake. And the second thing is make sure I don't slice my fingers off.
But and my question is as well too, the more you do it, because you keep removing from the interior, does it keep getting more and more fragile? Like does it keep getting harder and harder?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, it does. The thing the thing that you guys don't see when I'm doing these things is once I ink these, all of the, especially this one's going to do it really, really badly. All of the ridges here and all the pointed edges, every one of those is going to shoot up like a thorn when it dries. So
like
it
curl
takes
up?
like a good, I'd say, yes, it's really bad. So it takes at least 2 days for me to properly flatten it out before I do any of the extra stuff. Because if I don't do that first, I run the risk of damaging the points that are here, especially if it's for the character himself.
Sure.
Or herself. And if I don't have that flattened down first, I can't do anything else on it, considering that it becomes too much of a thing. Because if you move your arm the wrong way, you flatten out half of the thing, and then you're screwed because then the bend doesn't come out of that.
Right.
So
it's quite the process.
Just a lot of care that goes into these things when it comes to cutting. So it's funny. Usually I don't cut before I color specifically for that reason, but for the sake of things, it's coming along now. So usually when it gets to a scenario like this, what I'll do is I'll take some paper and this paint tape, and I'll measure it out to the inner line that I have along here, and I will tape it on the inside. Then I'll do my border, and then I will take that off this way. None of this curls up, and then I will tape around the whole edge, and then I'll do it in black or whatever color it is I'm doing. And then I'll let that dry. Once it's fully dried, then I'll flatten it out a bit, and then I'll just press it.
It makes me think of when I've done some silk screening and stuff in the past. Same type of idea. I know nowadays all silk screening is done just by laser and stuff, but yeah, silk screening would be the same idea in the past. You'd be removing stuff, and as you got more and more into the picture, it'd be get more and more fragile just because the stability was gone because of it, right? So that's cool.
Yep. The Maleficent one that I did, the dragon one, that was probably the most fragile one that I've done, because that one has a lot of spikes coming off of her spine and her back, right? So that one in particular, when it comes to to inking that took almost a week to fully finish, considering that's the every time I had the front pressed down properly, the back would start to curl. So I'd have to try and keep it even and then fold the thing comfortably. And then I had some of the ridges coming off the side here. It was that's also another thing that I find really difficult is when I'm slicing along the spine here. I got to be very careful because obviously you don't want to cut the comic, but also I got to make sure that it's flattened enough that I can cut through, especially like, I don't know if you can see this, but right there, that's half cut into the staple, right? So
Yeah.
that one I've got to, when it comes to pieces like that, it can be a pain in the ass. It's easier when I have it like a shoulder here where it's already done.
Sure.
But if it's like that and it cuts through the staple, so be it. Work with what you got.
Yeah. You'll remember that next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly what type of, is there a specific paper that you buy for this? Or
no, I haven't actually used it on any of the other one. I have watercolor paper that probably would work for this. It's about the same thickness as the comic covers, but I haven't tried cutting into anything other than these because most of the ones I've worked with have taken to the blade. The only exception was one that I did it's going to be for Halloween, but I decided to try to apply a bit of fire to that. That didn't work out the way I thought it would when I tried to cut into it. So that one got trashed. But that's still for the only one that I've messed up.
Yeah, because most blanks that come nowadays, especially within the last year, all seem to be a little bit that thicker cardstock because they know people will be painting on it. So it must make it easier for you to cut in a little bit.
It is, yeah. But like I said, it's easy to cut like this because this is still relatively flat for now. Even if I was to put it into the sleeve, it'd be totally fine. But as soon as I start putting any wet media on this, it's going to start curling. So that's where I got to really watch it because if I don't, the whole thing will turn into it'll be like an apple turnover. And then if it gets to that point, I'm screwed because trying to roll that out will take too long. Even if I was to use like a paper towel roll or something to try and slowly massage it down to keep it flat again.
Yep.
So. But yeah.
How did you discover doing that?
I was looking at all the blank covers that I had, and I was thinking, okay, well, I don't know what I'm going to draw on all these, considering that I've got. I see that's the thing. I've always got ideas of what I want to do, but trying to get the fucking ideas out of my head, that's the biggest issue I tend to struggle with. Like, I can do this or this or this. So I figure, all right. So I was going through my, I've got a couple pencil cases, and my fiance Marie, she bought me a scalpel kit. It wasn't for this originally. I don't remember what the fuck it was for, but she picked it up, and she's like, "Here, you could probably use it for something." I think it was for when I was doing my my college courses, because there was a couple of piecework I had to do in order to scan it properly to send my projects in. This way, they looked the way I was trying to get. And she gave it to me, and I happened to be looking at it. And I'm like, I haven't seen anybody try to cut into these things before. And then I was thinking of some of the Marvel ones. Like I said, the Wolverine one, that was the first one that popped in my head. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that because I had it when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. It looked like a case file of Wolverine shredded, and then you open it, and it's him fighting a bunch of, I think, guards. So
that's what it was.
I thought that was the coolest thing ever when I was younger. So I was like, all right, let me go ahead and just try and give it a shot. And I still have my very first die cut that I did. It's funny enough, it's not actually done yet, and it's actually super simple. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but I tried it out on one of those, and I'm like, oh man, okay, if I fuck this up, I'm gonna be so sad because it was the only blank that I had at the time when I tried it. So, or at least the only blank that I was willing to give that a shot on. And I'm like, oh, all right, see if it works. And yeah, no, it looks really good so far. It's fairly basic compared to like this, but for me, since it's my first one, it still has a lot of meaning to me. So when I finish that one, I'll make sure to post it so people can see it. But yeah, and then they figured, okay, well, if I can get some more sharper blades, I can do a lot more. And then I started looking into some more other designs and whatnot that I can try to incorporate. Not everyone, unfortunately, incorporates the best to like the comic here, but I find that some work better as wraps and some only work better as covers. So
sure, that's cool. Chris, I'm really liking your Hellboy there. The color there is starting to pop. I love it. Hellboy's such an amazing color. I know it's just red, but just something about that red on his skin is just it's more than just red.
Yeah, he's a really cool character. I've always liked Hellboy. I haven't been able to read him much lately, but yeah, just the design's really cool. Pretty simple, but still a little bit complex.
Oh, okay. Let's look at how Mignola draws Hellboy, and he admits himself that, like, for example, Hellboy's entire face is a cheat,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that mouth can't really work. But the way Mignola draws it, it works. You know, uh, I drew this up. The reason I logged on 4 minutes before we started was I was wrestling with my interpretation of how to draw his face because I want it to look like Hellboy, but I can't pull that cheat off. So, it's a wrestling match.
Has anyone been checking out the giant robot Hellboy that's going on right now? I think they just had issue 2 this month. No, it's kind of fun. It's
No, I haven't seen it.
this scientist team. They kidnap Hellboy and they kind of hook him up to this giant like kaiju Hellboy robot mecha Hellboy to fight like these big monsters. It's exactly what I said. So it's pretty funny. So imagine this giant robot Hellboy being controlled by Hellboy. Oh, it's pretty funny. But again, that's just Hellboy is. Just weird situations like that. It doesn't have to be a huge ongoing story or a bunch of deep stuff going on. It's just supernatural fun.
See, I started reading Hellboy with the original 4-issue series.
Which one's that? Is that the Seed of Destruction one?
Seed of Destruction, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, me too.
Back when
Ooh, that would be tough.
Believe it or not, currently my favorite Hellboy artist is Duncan Fegredo. That guy is just I met him at a convention. He's the nicest dude, and we sat and shot the breeze for a long time. And just his ability to lay those bold lines down, I have to tickle all my stuff together, and I just adore his stuff on Hellboy. I think he's amazing. For me, he's better than Mignola. My favorite Mignola work on Hellboy was right around Wolves of St. August, which goes back a minute, and his stuff has developed into a very flat, very one-dimensional kind of vibe, which is fine. But my preference is like that Wolves of St. August look that he hit. So,
I like Mignola's Hellboy stuff, but what I really have learned to appreciate, and I do it more and more as I've gotten older, is the Mignola Batman stuff. Yeah.
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 Although, did you see any of the Ryan Sook stuff? They did a beautiful job.
Like the Columbo the detective? Why is that?
Well,
Okay.
yeah. Did you see his bill? Yeah, everybody's got their strengths. Have you seen any of Fregredo's Jay and Silent Bob stuff? That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I love his painting too. Just beautiful and direct, and
But
these beautiful solid shapes. Yeah.
is he based out of America though, or does he mostly live out of Europe? Because I find a lot of times that when they have people in Europe, they don't get paid to attention as much. I mean, now it's different nowadays with the internet and that, but is he out of the States more, or is he out of Europe more? That's probably the reason why then, right? True, true, yeah, for sure. Oh, there's lots of great European artists for sure. I'm just saying, like a lot of times they get forgotten. Hmm. Hmm.
Duncan is he's a cool dude. When I met him, he was very polite, very nice. Uh, it was kind of a thrill to talk to him at the convention. So mm.
Who was groaning there? Was that you, Carl?
Yeah, I'm wrestling with something here.
Yeah.
I'm at the end of the day. There's going to be a large amount of this cigar smoke wafting up here, a lot of tendrils, and
Okay.
I'm building some of it here.
Yeah.
But I also want the monster to disappear into just solid white shape, like it's not fully incorporated. There's its face back here.
Hmm.
So I'm just trying to make sure I don't ink my ass into a corner on it, which I am wont to do. So,
Every time you're on the show, you say that, and I've yet to see you do it. Or if you do it, you don't tell us till a little bit later.
no, I'm just really good at getting out of corners because
Oh, okay.
time. So yeah, don't be too impressed. Uh, it's why I often like give stuff to friends, because by the time I've worked on it long enough to finish it off, one, I'm tired of it. Two, I know where all the mistakes are, and that's all I see. And I hand it over, and they're like, "This is awesome." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's shit."
Yeah. Sounds like a good artist.
Uh,
No.
I don't.
No.
But in my mind, I'm
Yeah,
losing
that
my
probably
mind.
would.
Can't you see? No. Ink on this hot plate for a little while here. I actually pulled up a hot plate from the early 1900s. I wanted to do something that looked kind of classic for reference.
Oh, okay. I thought you're having issues with your ink, and you pulled out a hot plate. And you were warming it up on there for a second.
No.
I'm like, I just got figured out what you were doing. Silly me.
Okay, I'll talk enough. It's everybody else's turn. I've hogged all the space.
Nah, man. It's all good. It's interesting.
Try not to screw up my line work here.
Has everybody here seen the most recent Hellboy, like the reboot stuff? Yeah, I never even saw it just because I didn't want to put myself through it because I when they did the first movie there and then the second one, I thought that first one was so spot on. Um, so yeah, it's kind of hard to see the second one, and plus I just heard it was just so bad, and I don't even know why it was so bad. I just heard it was just so bad, that reboot one. So
I really enjoyed the second Del Toro.
oh, okay, that's not a good start.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, that did happen.
Oh, really? Eh? Okay. What about the guy they had playing Hellboy? I know that's the guy from Stranger Things and stuff. I forget his name. David Harbour, I think it is.
David Arbor.
Yeah. What was it? Was it just he wasn't that good at it, or just they gave him nothing to work with? Me too, lots of times. Yeah. Oh well, that's Nicolas Cage territory. Hmm. Yeah, see, that's what turned me off too. The couple flashes I saw of him, I didn't really care for the look too much. So right. Hmm. Yeah, I wish
Whoa.
they probably about it. I'm sure they'll try again in a few more years, and maybe they'll be more successful. But they should probably do something like that, like as a maybe instead of as a movie, more like a weekly streaming show where they can have like him and the BRPD out doing little missions or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but
That'd be
I,
pretty
I,
cool.
I can wish.
I thoroughly enjoyed the second Del Toro Hellboy.
Me too. Was that the with the weird white hair people, right? Yeah. Well, when in the first movie there, I especially liked the guy that played the villain. He was a perfect actor as that. So yeah.
He was in Blade 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Chris,
Yeah, it's
your battery's gonna die on your phone. It
Yo.
looks like I can see that here. Just letting you know.
Plug in, plug in.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And
Actually, I probably gotta go in a couple minutes.
oh
Take
yes,
care
I
of
heard
this.
you got
But
Thanksgiving plans. Yeah, that's cool. Before you pop off, do you want to
yeah, I
say
got some stuff I gotta take care of.
yeah? Before you pop off, do you want to tell people where they can find you in that, and then yeah, and then that's cool.
Yeah, you guys go ahead and check me out on my Instagram, ctopher18. I had a Patreon that was up, but right now it's on hiatus just because I got stuff to work out. But
Hmm.
mostly I'm gonna be posting on Instagram, and you can find me there and check out all my artwork.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on tonight. Your work
Yeah, man.
is amazing, and like I said, we'll make sure that everybody sees the final product so they can buy it. So.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. I'll let you know when I'm done with this, and I'll have it so it can be auctioned off.
Cool. See you later. Take care.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
take your Chris.
All righty. And we were down to 3.
And then there were 3.
Yep. Survivor, yeah. there's what's that? And the one with the dating, is it Bachelor, Bachelorette, the same type of thing, right?
Uh,
I assume those shows are all still on, right? I don't watch TV, but
I don't watch TV either. I thought it was just me.
I don't watch TV at all. I watch YouTube, and I have a Fire Stick that lets me watch other stuff. So I'll pick and choose certain shows. Like I must admit, I have been the last week. I have watched the all the new episodes I can so far of the new Frasier, the new season of Frasier on Paramount.
Man, I love the old show.
And then you'll love this. It's the exact same.
Really?
It's just like
Oh,
25 years later, or whatever. Everyone's just a little bit older.
yeah, the writing on that original show was just superb.
Yeah, it's awesome. Check it out. On Frasier? Why? What was wrong? Too cheesy or? Uh, uh-huh. No. That's what
Really?
makes me laugh about it. That's what makes me laugh about it. Uh, maybe it's because I watched them all like kind of back to back, like 3 or 4 at a time. But it just makes me laugh because like I do understand what you're saying, and that's the part that makes me laugh. Is like I understand they're trying to make it seem like they're everyone's a little bit older and a little bit off their game a little bit, but I think it's more like what you said. But it still makes me laugh. I don't watch a bunch of sitcoms. I don't even think there are sitcoms on TV anymore, are there? So to see that just as a look, maybe a little bit of nostalgia in there as well. But most of the stuff I watch is just YouTube. Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard that's really good.
Oh, yeah. I tried to get that the other day and it wasn't up yet on my system. So that is good so far. So is that the one with the with Kurt Russell? It is that one, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, because there's another one coming out too that's not with them. Okay, that's cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. So my question is, are you seeing Godzilla and seeing action right away, or is it something that's totally being stretched out? Oh yeah, you are. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And, yeah. Oh, that's cool. Nice. I'm gonna try and see if it's on my machine after this. And yes, I do agree with the comment that someone made in the chat here that they hope they do more with that. In Frasier's boss there, the lady boss there, they add to her character a little bit because she's kind of boring and cliche and like the person said, 2 dimensional. But I know it's cliche too. But his friend there, the drunk English professor guy, he makes me laugh so much, even though it's so cliche. But yeah, I heard that Godzilla was good, and then there's another one that's up there. And I enjoyed the first season. I know second season started now. With Stallone, Tulsa King.
Tulsa
I
King, yeah.
I really enjoyed that first season, so I'll try and get that second season going. So I think it's just starting now. I saw an advertisement on my Fire Stick. Oh, could be, but maybe maybe the new episode's just about to drop or something like the first one. I'm not too sure, but I definitely saw that this week. It was great. Hmm. I have yet to see that, and I want to. Now, on that Tulsa King, is Stallone helping out with the writing at all? No, he's not, eh? I started watching this show, and it's a newer show, but I don't know if it's just made by Tubi or if it's on Tubi. Um, John Carpenter's like, what's it called?
His new horror series.
Yeah, urban. Yeah, yeah, suburban horror or something. That was pretty interesting. The first two episodes I saw of that. Yes, it's pretty cool. Okay. Now I was telling Brandon before we got on the air tonight that if I wasn't on the air with you guys tonight, I'd be binging on. There's double wrestling going on tonight. We got both companies putting on events tonight, so
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing we don't have Ruth because he would be chafing.
I know it'd be the same thing. He'd be watching both of them too. Because tonight's Survivor Series. I haven't seen that freebie one that someone's commenting about here, but I've definitely used Tubi quite a bit. There's even if Tubi itself, like the menu or interface, what you want to call it, is not the greatest. It doesn't show a lot of the stuff it has. You actually have to go and just kind of flip through the categories a little bit. And some of the stuff they have on there is amazing. Like the old TV shows and movies they have on there is stuff that you would never find anywhere else. And they have it on there. And again, it's all for free. So. Mm-hmm. And they have this
Are
one,
you
and
being paid by Tubi, Nathan?
no, I'm not, but I'm hoping if there's any Tubi executives out there listening, they would maybe drop a line. But there's this one there that I talked about when it was Halloween that I was gonna watch. I was saving it for Christmas, and now I'll watch it. It's a Tubi movie, and it's called Hell on the Shelf, and it's about a possessed elf on the shelf doll, and it just looks awesome.
I would be down for that.
Yeah, Hell on the Shelf, Carl. Check it out. It's gonna reverse. It's gonna be the holiday version of Velociraptor.
Velocipaster.
Or Velocipaster, sorry. Yeah.
Velocipaster, yeah.
Yeah. And also on Tubi, they have all kinds of movies that involve animals and cocaine. They have Cocaine Shark. Cocaine Shark, which is it's pretty funny. Cocaine Wolf. There's a few.
I'm surprised we haven't seen a like one of those sci-fi shows, Mega Shark, where some Colombian drug lord loses a gigantic shipment, and their shark monster loses its mind.
That's kind of what the one is with the shark that I was talking about there, that cocaine shark. It's kind of a bit of that, and a bit of the old cliche of the chemical factory by the water, dumping chemicals into the water. So it's a little bit of cocaine or a little bit of drugs and a little bit of toxic waste, turning these sharks into the crazy eating machines that they are. So. Maybe that's coming up. Maybe that they're saving that for the new year.
Pablo Escobar's pets getting even, that kind of stuff.
It could be like it could be Quaalude hippos.
They have been trapping and sterilizing
Hippos?
hippos.
Wow.
Pablo Escobar's hippos, yeah, because they're populating like crazy. Yeah, talk about invasive species. Yeah.
Okay, I got a question for the group here. It's from somebody in the chat. It says, I have some nerve damage with my hands that have hurt my ability to draw. Little tremors and seizing that make drawing difficult. Any suggestions on styles or programs that I should try?
I understand that drawing digitally with like these drawing tablets, but there's actually you can actually like compensate for that with these tablets. I haven't done it.
There you go. I did not know that.
Someday in the future,
I was not aware of that either.
because I'm not the steadiest guy, and my family has a tremor we developed that we affectionately nicknamed the Bend Shakes, named after my mom's dad. So,
okay.
I have offset it by laying lines down faster, but I don't have near the control I used to have.
Okay, so that's good to know.
There's that.
There you go.
Oh.
I never even thought about something like that. But I should, because I work with my hands. I'm a hairdresser, so if I ever have to deal with something like that, I'd be screwed. So I've been very lucky. With 30 years, I've had no issues with my hands. Knock on wood. So that's what I was gonna say. My issues are my shoulders, neck, and back. My upper back, not my lower back. So. The response says, I've heard about that too, but I'm not entirely sure which programs do that. Is there some sort of setting that controls that, or a style program that works well?
I'm not sure.
Not sure. That sounds like a little Google researching.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. That's a great question, though. Now, what can you do for someone who has no talent like myself?
Look.
I do.
Magic.
I branch out.
To the beach.
I've made lots of good artist friends like you guys, so that's how I fix my itch for creativity. No, that's bad.
Yeah, no.
Nope. I'd rather have a shitty hand-drawn one than a good-looking AI. What's wrong, Karl? I hear you humming and thinking.
Yeah, now to do the big Hellboy hand and not hose it. So here we go.
Hand of Doom.
Hand of Doom.
Do you guys like the when they do the Junior Hellboy or Hellboy, Little Hellboy, I guess they call it? I like those stories sometimes. They're not too bad. Oh, okay. They're fun. Now I'm trying to think how long ago it was. Probably the late '90s, early 2000s. There was a bunch of like Hellboy cartoons that came out, and those were actually pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you guys. Have you guys seen the animated ones?
Yeah, those are the ones I'm talking about. They're pretty good. I mean, I
Oh, the
don't know.
movies, right?
Yeah, the movies. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I don't know how they hold up to now. I haven't seen them in many years, but I remember like the Iron Sword. I think it one's called or something like that. Those are really good when I saw them back then. They're definitely not really meant for kids, though.
No.
No, that's what the junior Hellboy is more for stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, could be.
Whipping out my inner Alex Toth with all these darks.
Oh, Carl, look at this. I haven't done a review yet for my channel, but just because I haven't had a chance yet. But I picked this up a couple of weeks ago. I'll switch to my screen here. This is a collected work. It's called Genius Animated, all of Alex Toth.
Oh,
It's so good. It's only about $40, so I think that's like what, $8.50 American. So but there's all it is just one giant book, just all original artwork, all in there. Super Friends, some's in color, some of it's in black and white, storyboards. It is so good. And this is a fairly new book, just a couple weeks old, and it can be ordered still if anybody wants it, because I know that's how I got it. It's from IDW, and it's called Genius Animated, the Cartoon Art of Alex Toth. It is the third book, yeah. Which I did not know that when I bought that. As I read the book at the end, I'm like, oh my god, what's in the other two books? There's so much in this. So yeah, that's I just got it a few weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, animated's all the stuff he did. And yes, in the chat, Zorro stuff is in this book here. The Zorro stuff is for sure. Nice.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
For sure. That's very cool. Well, I'm glad that's going on a couple people's wish lists out there. They've said that's going on the wish list. I'll say the name again. It's called Genius Animated, the cartoon art of Alex Toth. And like I said, it literally just came out like maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago. So if you head to your comic book store, or if you have to use Amazon or Chapters or whatever, I'm sure it's on there as well. But
He was heavily involved with the pre-production on Johnny Quest, and he couldn't stand the fact that the producers insisted on adding that little dog, Bandit. He hated that dog.
that's like with Godzilla in the old Godzilla cartoon. They had the little baby Godzilla too.
Yeah.
Godzuki, yeah, or Scrappy Doo, or whatever else.
Yeah.
Shmoo and a Shmoo baby. Or Gleek on the Super Friends. Guys, got about 10 minutes left, so if you get any any kind of inspirational quotes or anything like that, got to get them out there.
Yeah, learn to be a doctor. Comic book artists.
Yep.
Yeah, this paper's making me also get a little bit of Jorge Zafino going on this too.
Nice.
I'm usually a lot more precise than this, but kind of like this, painterly. I want to say painterly, and then I'm looking at a beautifully painted Hellboy here. So it's not like I can quite get away with saying painterly, but I'll try. That.
Yeah. I must admit, someone here is talking about Space Ghost and stuff, and I never really watched Space Ghost much as a kid, and I never watched the I guess the second career of Space Ghost when he was like the talk show host or anything like that. Yeah, okay. Well, in Canada, we didn't get those channels back then. So what it was it on Cartoon Network? Was that what it's on back then? Oh, yeah, we didn't get those back then unless you had like satellite or something. So, yes, I was more of a Dino Mutt fan and the Blue Falcon.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, it looks pretty awesome, though.
Yeah. Damn you.
It's not an exam, man. I'm not going to make you put your pencils down. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to do the same.
Yeah, likewise.
Have a little bite to eat, and like I was telling Brandon before me, I want to do some exercise, but I think I might just jump right into that wrestling. That's all right. That's all right. It's one of those things that I loved it as a kid, and then I stopped watching. I guess around my son was born, actually, so around 28 years ago. Never watched it for a long time, and then I just got into it right before COVID started again, maybe a year or so before that, and I just have like fallen in love with it again. It's just, yeah, it's good. I like it. I know it's not real, so people don't tell me it's not real. I understand that the stories are awesome in it. That make me laugh, and I enjoy the thoughts they put into it. But I'm there for the show. Like the stuff that these guys do nowadays is amazing. Like if someone can appreciate Cirque du Soleil and all that kind of stuff, then you got to be able to appreciate wrestling. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I've learned, and it's always been around, but with myself for the last couple of years, I've worked with one of the local wrestling promotions in town here, is that it's one of the few places where you're allowed to go nowadays still, and you're encouraged to yell at people and swear at them and insult them and stuff. Like nowhere else in the world you're allowed to do that nowadays, but if you're at a wrestling thing, you can do that, and they encourage it. Like make fun of people, call them fat, all this and that. That's okay. That's allowed. So
get your yayas out.
Pretty much. Well, Karl, right where you are in North Carolina, that's big wrestling country.
Yeah, I don't do wrestling either. So
I didn't think you did wrestling.
I hate to disappoint. It's not my thing.
That's all right. You do art well. That's what I appreciate from you.
See how some of this stuff is looking. Yeah,
I think
there's gonna be some white spatter on this. I'm gonna do all sorts of funky stuff to it.
I'm looking forward to seeing both your guys' work finished. Brandon, yours looks awesome right now with that orange behind it popping through. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
It'll look better once I have the paint on it.
Yeah, that's sweet. Now, Brandon, we can only see like the one half. Move your picture around a little bit so we can see the other half.
What do you mean?
We can, like, from on the picture, we can only see the back cover. Move it over a little bit so we can see the right part of the cover too.
Oh, can you? Oh, I would say I can see the whole thing on it too. Okay.
Oh, can you?
Yeah,
Okay, maybe it's just my. No, don't worry about it. Maybe it's just my screen. Okay.
No, it's all good. Hold on, just give me 1 second.
Yep.
There we go.
There you go. That's getting better. Yeah. Now I can
Okay.
see Hellboy's face in that. Wow, that flaming crown on his head. That's amazing.
Thank you.
I don't know
I
how
definitely
you.
want to incorporate the crown.
I don't know how you did that without like tearing it off. That's crazy.
Oh, it's the same as the flames. You just got to take a bit of time because this is the one thing where my heavy-handedness actually fucking helps. Because when it comes to drawing, like I use a mechanical pencil, right? But I've broken so many goddamn lead sticks when it comes to this thing. But it works perfectly. But when I'm using this thing, I have to dig into it, so it's perfect. So when I do that, I can just take my time just fucking stabbing it.
That is amazing. Everybody's art is looking great.
You're going all Hannibal Lecter on it? Is that?
Yeah, I have to be very surgical while I'm performing.
That's
So
neat.
to speak.
So, since we have you on the screen right now, Brandon, why don't you give us again your deets where people all can find you in that, and just give yourself one final promo before we take off.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So best place to find me when it comes to this is probably Instagram. So at at themadking.xxii or 23 in Roman numerals. Also, I have a website with some of my stuff on it. Some of the die cuts are on there as well. madhouseillustrations.bigcartel.com. That's about it right at the moment. So just feel free to reach out, and if anyone has any ideas for something that they're kind of curious about, they're not too sure, I'm sure I can hash something out and can go from there. But anyway, absolute pleasure working with both you guys, Karl and Chris, as well as Richard here, and Nathan. Thank you for hosting.
Awesome.
And very humbled and honored to be doing this alongside you guys.
It's cool. We appreciate you for jumping in last minute. I know you had to, you weren't originally scheduled, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
All right, Karl, you're up.
Karl G. Waller on Instagram.
Yep.
You know, I put my full name on there. It kind of makes me hold my tongue a lot. And
it's all right.
I'll be posting more stuff on Axel's Infernal as we get further towards fulfilling it, and I'll start posting images from the next one.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. All right, and Richard, go for it, good sir. Mm-hmm. Cool. No worries. All right, and like I as well. Yeah, you guys say that all about each other's work, and
are you fucking crazy, dude?
Yeah, that's what
I'm
saying.
looking at your screen here, and like you got the detailing on your fucking shadows there, man. Blows my fucking balls off.
Yeah, yeah. You guys are all amazing artists.
Ah. Okay, if that's what you call scribbling, then holy shit. Please, I'll take the doodles too.
Yeah, what you got
Every-
going is, and don't take it wrong, you got more of that Bill Sienkiewicz kind of slop going.
Yeah.
And you build the stuff with all this looseness, and you can get away with a lot, and it could look really great. You know, when you're, you know, when you're an idiot like me and every line means something, all of a sudden you get one off and it turns to crap. So yeah,
You guys are
I'm envious of
hilarious.
that.
But that's what makes a good artist, an artist that doesn't think their work is good. So, all right, everybody, we will see you next week. For Stefan will be back hosting the next episode of Tags. Until then, watch all the social media sites, Now Daddy, Things Are Getting Sketchy, all these individual sites as well for these fine people for later on the week. And maybe you can get one of these great pieces of artwork. Take care, everybody.
Not everybody.